welcome to our educational channel, Science Shaka by Shagun. In today's video, we are going to complete our chapter of chemistry, which is changes around us, physical and chemical changes. So let's proceed. Introduction to carbon dioxide test, which is a chemical change. How we can justify it is a chemical change. So now let's collect the proof. When substances react and produce gas, this gas can be tested. How we can test that gas? Carbon dioxide gas has a specific property. It turns lime water, which is basic in nature, milky in appearance. So for example, a demonstration you can say, when carbon dioxide passes through a freshly prepared lime water, the appearance of the lime water changes. The appearance will be milky. What that milky thing? So now let's talk about that. Calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide is a chemical name for lime water. So calcium hydroxide plus carbon dioxide gas results calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate is that milky thing, which when carbon dioxide passes through lime water, the milky thing which appears, it's calcium carbonate, plus some amount of water is also produced. Activity: vinegar plus baking soda, carbon dioxide formation. So vinegar is acetic acid. Vinegar consists of acetic acid, and the chemical name for baking soda is sodium hydrogen carbonate, which is also called as sodium bicarbonate. Reaction results in when vinegar reacts with baking soda. When vinegar reacts with baking soda means vinegar plus baking soda, it results carbon dioxide plus salt plus water. So when vinegar and baking soda reacts with each other, it produces carbon dioxide, salt and water. Key learnings from carbon dioxide test. So chemical changes often produces gases. As we saw, the carbon dioxide gas, these gases can help identify the type of reaction. The gases can be useful to us. We can identify that which reaction this is with the help of the gases. Lime water test is a scientific indicator for carbon dioxide. We saw when the carbon dioxide passes through the lime water, it changes its appearance, that calcium carbonate. So it's a scientific indicator for carbon dioxide because we got to know that which gas is it. Rusting of iron, it's a chemical change. Rusting, when iron comes in the contact of oxygen and water, iron oxide is produced, the rust is produced. So the equation says iron plus oxygen, the air, plus water, the moisture, results iron oxide, the rust. Characteristics are brownish orange, or you can say brownish red in appearance. The coating, flaky and weak the structure. As you can see, it's weak, the rust weaks the structure. Rusting is a slow but irreversible change. Irreversible change are those which cannot be brought back to its original state or original position. So rusting is a slow and irreversible in nature. If the rusting is fast change, so nothing in the world which is made up of iron can be sustained. Rust is a new substance unlike iron. Rusting damages bridges, gates, vehicles, tools and machines. Everything which is made up of iron, it's damaged by the rust. How we can prevent it? So now let's talk about that. Conditions and preventions of rusting. Rusting needs, what are the necessary needs to rusting to take place? Air and moisture. When the iron object comes in contact with air and moisture, rust is produced, the iron oxide is produced, the brownish orange layer you can say. The prevention methods are paint the iron object, apply oil and grease, so basically greasing. Galvanization is a process when we like zinc coating, when we coat zinc on the iron object. Keep metals dry. So keep the metals dry. Both the things are very necessary for rusting to take place. If we say that let's remove air, so rusting won't take place. If we remove moisture, the rusting won't take place. Both oxygen and water are very important for rusting to take place. Using rust resistant alloys. Alloys are made up of two things. So not only iron is there, for example stainless steel, etc. Combustion, a chemical reaction. Combustion, burning of a substance in the presence of oxygen, is called as combustion. Produces heat, light and new substance. Wherever you see the new substance, we can classify that it is a chemical change. Example, magnesium ribbon burns with a bright flame, the white dazzling light, and the white powder which is produced after the burning of the magnesium ribbon is magnesium oxide, the white powder. Burning wood, candle wax, LPG are the changes, the chemical changes. Characteristics of combustion. Must have oxygen. There must be the presence of oxygen. Then only the combustion will take place. Produces energy, the heat and light. Usually irreversible in nature. Often produces smoke or gases. For example, forest fire, cooking gas flame, burning paper, wood, etc. The fire triangle. For any fire to start, three things are essential. The triangle is a three-sided polygon. So remember that fuel, oxygen and heat, these three things are very important for the combustion to take place. What are those three things? The fuel. Anything that can burn, for example wood, petrol, wax, LPG, anything that can burn is said to be as the fuel. Oxygen supports in burning. Heat to reach the ignition temperature. What's the ignition temperature? We will talk about that in the next slide. You can see that this is the fire triangle. Oxygen, heat and fuel. If one element is removed, if any element, oxygen, heat or fuel, any of the element is removed, the fire will stop. It won't be like blowing. Importance of ignition temperature. Ignition temperature is the minimum temperature at which a substance catches fire. Different substances have different ignition points. For example, everyone is having their different routines. Likewise, every substance is having their different ignition points. Petrol is having very low ignition point. Paper, moderate. Wood, high. Imagine that there a fire source, suppose the sun, paper and the magnifying glass. We can see here. Take the magnifying glass and adjust in such a manner so that the sunlight, the sun rays are directly crashing through that magnifying glass and making a bright spot on the paper. What you will observe after a few minutes, you will see that some amount of smoke is produced, and after few more time the paper is catching fire. So it's the ignition temperature. The paper is having moderate ignition temperature. Desirable and undesirable changes. As the name suggests, desirable changes are those changes which are very useful to us, which we want to happen because they are essential and very helpful to us. Whereas undesirable changes are those which we do not want to happen. We can say that they are good for nothing. Desirable changes, the examples are written over here, which are cooking food, ripening fruits, curd formation, digestion in human body. Undesirable changes, food spoilage. Who will want that food to spoil? Rusting of iron, fungal growth on the bread, decay of stored vegetables. Except the rusting of iron, everything comes in the category of food spoilage. So who will want that food to spoil? So it's an undesirable change, unwanted change. Weathering and erosion. These are slow plus natural changes. Weathering, breakdown of rocks by temperature change, water, wind, plant roots. The plant will grow, they want water and minerals, they will dig deeper, so it will lead the breakdown of rocks. Chemical reactions, these are the chemical reactions produces soil and sediments. Sediments are the small particles of, you can say, soil. Well, now let's talk about erosion. Movement of weathered materials by, what are weathered materials? Which are gone through the process of weathering. Those are weathered materials. So the movement of weathered materials, those have gone through the process of weathering by wind, water, rivers, ocean waves, shapes landscapes over thousands of years. So now let's recapitulate what we have learned in today's video. The complete revision of the chapter. Chemical changes. Chemical changes are those changes which produces new substances. Vinegar plus baking soda. Vinegar is having acetic acid. Baking soda is also called as sodium bicarbonate. Shows carbon dioxide formation. Lime water test. When carbon dioxide passes through the freshly prepared lime water, the color, the appearance of the lime water changes to milky. So that it shows that it has a presence of carbon dioxide. Rusting, unwanted chemical change, forming iron oxide. A new substance which is iron oxide is produced, so it is a chemical change. Combustion needs three things. Remember the three-sided polygon, the triangle, which is fuel, oxygen, heat. If any of them are removed, the fire will stop. It won't take place. Suppose we remove fuel, it won't take place. Any of these three are removed, fire will stop. Desirable versus undesirable changes are based on usefulness. So you can say that desirable changes are the wanted changes and undesirable changes are unwanted changes. They are like good for nothing changes. Desirable, for example, cooking food, and for undesirable, rusting of iron, food spoilage, etc. Weathering and erosion change Earth's surface slowly over time. Erosion takes place on the weathered materials. Through this, we have completed the chapter of physical and chemical changes. I hope that each and every concept is cleared. In the next upcoming video, we are going to talk about life processes in plants. Till then, take care and bye-bye.